welcome to Reflection Tuesday for November 10th, 2020. Today's Gospel from St. Luke says near the end, "When you have done all you have been commanded, say, 'We are unprofitable servants. We have only done what we were obliged to do.'" This Gospel can be a little bit hard to understand, and when we finally do understand, I don't like it much. We are unprofitable servants. We have only done what we ought to do anyway. Some Jesuit references even use the term worthless slaves instead of unprofitable servant. Well, I think Jesus is delivering a dose of realism in a way that saves us from being arrogant and conceited in matters of faith and life in general. The message of the gospel can be a bit deflating, but I do get it. I can get all caught up in my own idea of virtue, my good deeds, my generosity, my forgiving others, my taking care of the poor. But then Jesus says, well, unprofitable servant, you've only done what you're supposed to do anyway. So Jesus absolutely shifts the focus here. Then I understand that God gives me the ability to do all these things. So there's really nothing for me to boast about. But Jesus, look at all my good deeds. I was thinking there would be something in it for me. Where's my reward? And reading between the lines, Jesus says, why do you attach strings to what I've asked you to do? You should help ease the burden of others you encounter in life for no other reason than I've asked you to do it. If we do something for God, we need to do it for God. And then we have only done what we're supposed to do in the first place. I don't need a reward. And to think I deserve one is going too far. Vanity and arrogance. Sometimes people do what they do for God thinking that it's self-fulfilling. They want to be fulfilled. It could be self-fulfilling as long as there's no sense of entitlement, no strings attached, no using someone else's pain in order to gain fulfillment. If I go down to the homeless center and work the food line and I say, oh, when I put soup in the homeless man's bowl, I feel so fulfilled. Jesus would say, really? Are you blind? You think a person's homelessness and hunger is an occasion for your fulfillment? Really? How did that person become hungry? Was there any kind of injustice that caused that hunger? I'm glad you're fulfilled, but you're doing it wrong. Deacon. There was a woman who once said, the first time I gave a bowl of soup to a little boy who was hungry, and he said, thank you, ma'am, I started to cry, and she wondered to herself how many other hungry little boys and girls are there in the world, and her heart became broken by the immensity of it all. It was so deep and difficult for her, she asked her pastor if he thought she was losing her faith. He said, no, that's a symptom that Jesus has risen within you when your heart breaks and there's no sedative. Let's not get all hung up on the words unprofitable servant or even worthless slave. Instead, become a slave and have your heart broken. Become a slave and learn how to weep for the oppressed and the marginalized. Become a slave, do what we ought to do anyway, and become like Jesus in the process. Peace be with you. Stay safe and healthy. See you next week.